sibuya kwaSandral. Siqale ngokubulela for isikhathi senu nokufika lana nizo honora lo mhlangano. Size lana sibona ukuthi kubalekile as uSandral ukuthi size ebantwini sizo understanda ukuthi maphi ama challenges akhona emphakathini, particularly amayelana nama small businesses are related to construction yeindlela. As you know that uSandral silungisa indlela imigaqo kakhulu national roads. So silana namhlanje because nibalulekile kuthina as stakeholders zethu. Angihambi ngedwa, ngihamba nama colleagues wami ama contractor abuya kuvia, abanye ba ku design engineering. So bazoza introducer, bazositshela ukuthi kungani sihlangene la namhlanje. So lo mhlangano lona akusiwe iSandral kuphela, azanga ngokukhuluma, izoba i-two way. Masiqeda ukupresenta into esizele la, sizokhuluma ngamathuba, sikhulume ngezinto ukuthi nilungise kanjani for amathuba azayo, ukuthi as small companies amapha ama documents akumele abe ready, ukuthi nizoyenza njani manibidela for ama opportunities we construction kuSandral. So ngizocala ke ngi-introduce ubhuti azo-introduce i-team yakhe and then bazonthatha through i-presentation. Angazi noma mhlambe siqala umhlangano kanjani, siyavula ngomthandazo or sivele singene endabeni, angazi si-observe ama-protocol, sesi-right, singaqhubeka. Okay, over to you, my chief.
Thank you very much. Let me just say, Lord, we thank you for the day. Before I even go far, I believe that the session will be fruitful and informative to everyone. Standing before you, it's Timothy Machete. I don't want you guys to be confused. I am a site agent or a site manager for Via Road Maintenance on a project that is in Emelo, which is 098. This information session, it's actually for a project that is under Via as well. The site agent is Tolani, the gentleman by the door. So I'm in front to help him with the presentation. He hijacked me, so I did not go much into the presentation. So if I get stuck, he must quickly jump in. But then allow me to go through the presentation. I thought my guy was gonna be here to help me with the slides. There he is, he's coming. Okay, the project is actually 092. So that was just an introduction. I'm quickly gonna take you through the routes so that you are familiar with the routes where the main contractor is working on. And then if you check on the, we are very sorry that our projector is not projecting well on the sheet, but then if you check, we have a map here which is a locality plan. It shows various roads, some are in blue and some are in red. The main contractor here is working on the roads that are highlighted in red. If you check, there is a long stretch of a road from, I highlight them for them, there is an N11 which starts from Volkrust all the way to where there is a boundary that separates the two local municipalities. So the first portion that starts in Volkrust, that is actually N11 section 5, which starts from kilometer 0, and then it ends on kilometer 42.58, which is somewhere there, and that is in Amersfoort. And then we have N11, which is section 6, that starts from Amersfoort all the way to kilometer 27.57. I think it's at Val River, if I'm not mistaken. There is a small bridge there. The name of the river, it's called Val River. And then from Amersfoort towards the area called, I know people say Makasoni, some say Morganson, whichever way you prefer. There is R35 heading in that direction. And then the R35 starts from, which is section 1. It also starts from kilometer 0. It ends at kilometer 27.4. Then from Falkrast in a direction to Standerton, there is also R23 section 1. It also starts from kilometer 0. It ends at kilometer 42.2. All the roads combined, they sum up to a span or a length of 139.77 kilometers. So now, I'm gonna take you to the next slide, and then, which is the introduction of PMT, and then so that you are familiar with everyone that is involved on the project. As far as you guys know, all national roads are managed by SANRAL, and SANRAL has someone representing them, which is a project manager by the name of Kwanele Similani. He's there at the back, and then maybe you will see him well if you guys have questions that might need his interference. And then there is what SANRAL typically do, they appoint consultants to manage and monitor or also do the supervision of the contractor. The consultants appointed in this case, it's ROMH Consulting or ROMH Engineers. Then ROMH, it's led by the contract engineer by the name of Sibusiso, assisted by Bongani, which I'm not sure if they are around or not, but it seems like they are not here. And then we also have occupational health and safety agent, which is also ran or managed by Sanele. And then we have a route manager by the name of Hanelise. There she is, assisted by Tulu. I hope I'm pronouncing the names very well. And then together with Pumlani. There is also a PLO by the name of Tuba. The PLO is one of the important people in the project because they are available or they are there to make sure that the main contractor is giving a proper treatment to the locals, to the subcontractors and general workers. I suppose she's the one here in front. So such challenges, if they are there, I believe she's standing in the gap for the sake of community. And then going down, we have the main contractor by the name of Via Road Maintenance, which is us. And then you will see we have a contracts manager by the name of Zama. He's not here. And then, as I said, that the project is run by Tolani, who's a site agent there. And then there is also a mentor by Dan. Dan seemed not to be here today. The mentor is also there to make sure that all the subcontractors that are appointed, they are not just there. We don't just leave them like headless chickens. There is someone who's giving them a direction. There is someone helping them so that their companies can go to the next level. And then there is also a TSO, Traffic Safety Officer, by the name of Martins. I did not see him. It seems like he's busy on site. And there is also a wellness champion by the name of Nozuko. I'm not sure if he or she is here with us. And then this particular person is the one that makes sure that everyone involved on the project, when it comes to the well-being, everyone is good. So you can see here that SANRAL is trying by all means to make sure that everyone who's on project, when it comes to health, and then they are good. When it comes to delivering and growing when in businesses, everything goes accordingly. So that was just an introduction to project management team. We're gonna go to the next slide now, which it has PLC members. these people allow me to skip the slide, but to make things short, in the PLC, there is an organization that represent people living with disabilities or disabled disabled people. And then there is also an organization that represent businesses, environment, women. There is also someone from LED. I suppose that one is from the municipality. And there is also one that is there represent the agriculture, traditional or authority, LED office, it's coming twice, and also religious. So these are the people that are involved in the PLC, Public Liaison Committee, for this particular project. So now, there is a CPG plan planned for this particular project, and then it's always not easy to achieve it, but we try by all means to make sure that we do achieve it. You can see there is a line that says subcontracting requirement is 50-50 split. In most cases, people are used to 70-30 split. This is 50-50 split simply because of the main contractor's BEE status. It pushed them to be 50-50. Maybe if the main contractor was one of us here in the room, maybe it could have been 70-30. But as it stands on this particular project, the split is 50-50. This means the 50% must go to the main contractor. The 50% must go to the subcontractors. And then you will see that there is a target for grade 1s and 2, which is almost 10%. And then you can also see there the one that is actually splitted, but this one is not only for grade 1s and 2. I think it's for grade 1s all the way to 4. I'm not sure if you accommodated 5 as well. You will see that the amount that is expected or that is scheduled to go for subcontractors, it's about 33 million. And then as it stands, or up to today, the project started, was it last year, January? Yes. Till today, the CPG that has been spent to the local businesses, it's about 11 million. So it's a lot of money, and while you are sitting, you must ask yourself, where did this 11 million go? So if you are not part of it, it's your homework now to go home and do what you have to do, so that next 6 months or in the next 12 months, when there is something like this, you are included in that expenditure. And then, thank you. There is just a project milestone. Allow me not to focus too much of what is on the slide, but I can tell you that the project milestone now is that they have appointed the subcontractors, which their contract is about to lapse. I believe they appointed somewhere last year. Then, you are welcome, get a seat. The term is about to end. So that is the milestone of the project. And then you have seen that they actually have a mentor. It's another milestone of the project. You have seen that they have a PLO. It's another milestone of the project. And then they have also appointed the wellness officer, which is another milestone of the project. As it stands, I suppose he's in a good position now. He's preparing to appoint another set or another group of subcontractors, which is the next milestone, which is the next, it is our next target. We are aiming for that. Thank you. And then we actually when that time of advertising for subcontractors, they will only be given the opportunity to grade 1s and 2s. The reason why the opportunity is going for grade 1 and 2, it's simply because they are contracted or appointed only for 12 months. The ones that were appointed last year, their term is about to end. The grade 3 and above, they are appointed till the end of the project. And the reason for that, so that you don't feel like grade 3 and above are preferred, it's simply because their contract value, it's a little bit bigger than the contract value of grade 1 and 2. So for them to reach that contract value, we need a longer period. Remember, this is RRM. It's not a reseal or rehabilitation or reconstruction where you can have a massive certificate in 1 month. So in RRM, it's how do I put it? It's not like we are making very big money. So you have to understand that for grade 1s and 2s, it's easy for them to reach their contract value within a period of 12 months. But then for grade 3 and above, it needs a longer duration. That is why you see their contracts, it's still continuing. But then the one for grade 1 and 2, it's coming to an end. That is why now we have to appoint new subcontractors. Thank you. So now, there is actually another plan for the project, which you can see that yesterday, the plan was to finalize the tender document with project management team, which I believe it has been finalized, the tender document that you will be filling when you are busy doing the tendering. Today, which is the 26th of July, it's the information session, which is the one that we are currently having. From here, there is another one as well. It's going to be in Folkras. Yes. Then, on the 29th of this month, which I suppose is Friday, yes, they will be advertising of this new set of subcontractors that are needed. So please watch out. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the radio, but I suppose it will be there. Check on all public places, as I have seen them all over this place. There will be adverts there. And then the other one is that on the 2nd of August, that's when there will be, I suppose that statement there, it's briefing session, not information session. And then on the, no. It says information session. Okay, there is another information session coming. Forgive me, as I said, that I just browsed within 5 minutes. And then on the 10th of August, there is a compulsory tender briefing. Listen to this very well. It says compulsory. There is a reason why it's compulsory. It's simply because if you don't attend this one, forget about tendering, because during the briefing session, there is a certificate of briefing where the main contractor, maybe the site agent together with the route manager, they will sign that certificate. And if you don't have a signed certificate, therefore you can't bid. And even if you bid, you are typically wasting your time because your bid will taken as non-responsive. So please pay attention to that 10th of August. Then on the 26th of August, there is a closing date, which is almost 16 days. 16 days for you to fill the document, do the pricing and so forth. Don't wait for the 26th of August for you to submit. You're going to have serious problem. On the 26th of August, that is the day where the internet cafes will be fully packed. Everyone will be going there doing last minute things. So you're gonna go there in time, but still be in the queue until the closing time doesn't favor you. Try by all means to submit your tender document that from at least 25 going backwards. Please, I have seen this, I am a witness to this. It's very painful to fill the tender document. When you get there, we closed the gate or we closed the office, you go back. Try by all means to do your work in time. 16 days. 16 days. Let me not talk about hours of those 16 days, but it's quite a lot. Even if people are complaining about load shedding, it doesn't go every the whole 24 hours. That every 5 or 6 hours in a day, you can do something. Then, on the 3rd of October, that is when the subcontractors are expected to be on site. So, this means you can see that there is a month missing between August and October. Between August and October, that would be actually an evaluation period where the main contractor is evaluating all the documents that you have tendered on. And let me give you another brotherly advice before I go into the second slide. We have a serious problem with the communities, especially the communities where they are a little bit far from towns. People don't bid. People don't tender. Then people who are around town, they go tender. When you appoint, you can't appoint people that did not tender. You have to appoint the ones that tendered. Then you find the whole road network full of people coming from Falkrast. Then people in this area start running riots or stopping them. Hey, you can't work here. You didn't appoint people from our area. How will he appoint people from this area if you guys don't tender? Please, 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 I humbly beg you or request you, when he advertise, go and tender. In the tender document, there will be his email address. If you don't understand, please send an email, ask him. The best way is to go through the document in time so that when you don't understand something, you still have enough time to ask. Doing things on the last minutes, you don't have time to ask. You will do things for as long as, which is not right. Okay, thank you. So now I'm gonna take you through the list of returnables, and then so that you are aware, you're gonna find them in the document, and then I'm just gonna brief you so that you are aware what is expected from you. The first one there, it says certificate of tender briefing, which I just discussed or spoke about. If you don't attend tender briefing, you are going to find this certificate in the tender document, but unfortunately, it's not going to be signed. Allow me to advise my colleague Tolani in your presence. In the tender document, this certificate doesn't have an option for you to write, to give a signature. You have to go and edit that, put a place where you will be able to put a signature as the main contractor. So guys, please make sure that you have this. During the briefing session, there will be a pile of papers where each and every one of you, at the end of the briefing, they will be able to go home with that certificate, and in your tender document, you're gonna put the one that is signed. When you print out your tender document, you have to take the one that is blank and put the one that was signed. If that is not found when you return your tender document, automatically you will be disqualified or you have lost. It's like you are non-responsive. So please make sure you attend tender briefing. Then there is certificate of intention to submit a tender. This you will see in your tender document. It must be sent within 7 days. If you get a document today, that means within 7 days, I don't know if He will explain in the briefing. I don't know if the 7 days will start from the following day or it will start from that particular day. But within 7 days, you must go into the tender document, take this page, and then fill it, scan it, email it to the email address that you're gonna find in the tender document. This should be done within 7 days. Failure to do this will take your document as non-responsive. Please, this is very important. We have seen a lot of people who don't respond who don't send anything within 7 days, and then from there they still want to bid. Unfortunately, there is nothing we can do. I'm gonna tell you the importance of sending this as I explain other things. There is another one that says certificate of authority for signatory. In this case, some of the people have businesses that are very busy. They can't do everything alone. Maybe you have delegated someone to run this project, or you have delegated someone to manage this contract. In that case, you're gonna find a portion where it says certificate of authority for signatory. Therefore, you have to go into that page, take everything that is in the document, you put it on your company letterhead. If I remember well, even in the document, there is a small clause there that says the tenderer should do 1, 2, 3. Take that, put it on your company letterhead, and then sign, give permission to that particular person who you prefer to manage this contract for you. Because we don't want you to sign and tomorrow you are sending someone to say, no, he will run this. But on the certificate for authority for signatory, it's someone else. So please utilize this well. Then there is another one that says certificate of single tender submission. In this case, you must make sure that if you have a company, maybe you have 3 companies, you are not allowed to bid or to tender on these packages using all of them. You can only use one company, because using all of them, you are being unfair to other potential subcontractors. So you have to use one. And once you sign here, and later on we find out that you have actually used more than one company, you will be disqualified. And while I'm on this one, I have seen it last year, I have seen it this year. Sometimes there are certain people that he has a business, but he doesn't know how to do pricing. You go to her to help you with pricing. In Tepo Construction, we find full crust contractors BOQ. We saw it last year, even this year we have seen it. Please be careful of your documents to communicate to each other, because we can appoint Tepo Construction with full crust contractors BOQ. Automatically you are disqualified, even if you have everything that is required, even if your price is within the limits. So be careful, take your time when you do your things so that the documents communicate to each other. Then, certificate of front-end practices. This, it's highly discouraged, as we have people who are using their brothers, their sisters, wives, girlfriends, or whichever way to do business. Please, you have to declare that you are bidding or tendering without doing any fronting. This thing of you having you are running a business under him, like he has a business, he's not even participating in the business, you are doing everything, but the business is under him. That is not allowed. Or allow me to give this particular example. Don't take it somehow. You see, she's white. Maybe she knows a lot of stuff, but she realizes that the document favors maybe black or youth or women. Then she goes and she takes another youngster who's youth or black, maybe a woman, and then she's actually the mastermind running that through using his name, but she's the one who's doing that. That is fronting, that is highly not allowed. Should that be found, and then the document will be disqualified. And then, declaration form management of domestic, it's such a long sentence, and then allow me to summarize there. I hope I will give you a proper explanation. But in this one, it's a situation where you have to declare that you are not associated, or you don't know, you are not in a position where you are linked or have associates from Sanral, from Age, or from VIA. That can make it easy for you to get a sensitive information in relation to these contracts or in relation to these packages. So you have to declare that this is, you are not in that position where you are associated with anyone within these organizations. Then, certificate of permission to conduct due diligence investigation. This is just for you to, you have to declare or you have to sign that, yes, I do give VIA or Sanral to run any type of investigation if they feel or if they see that there is a need or if they doubt the documents that I have submitted. You have to sign that. So this means you are giving VIA or Sanral a permission to investigate you. Then, compulsory declaration, which we sometimes have people that are working for government or government-owned entities. So in this case, you have to declare you have to declare where you are working, the relationship that you have with VIA or Sanral. Then, certificate of independent tender. This goes back to the example that I gave now, that sometimes he has a business, she has a business. They are good buddies. They go fill the documents together. Everything is the same. They do pricing together. Everything is the same. I'm not saying don't help each other. You can help each other, but try by all means to let your work be unique, because if this is found, you will regard it as if you did not submit an independent tender, because there will be similarities in two different documents which are coming from two different companies. So try by all means to submit the work that is on your own. I'm not saying don't help each other. You can help each other, because not all of us are familiar with such documents. But be careful. We can't have the same ring binding. We can't have the same pattern of filling the documents, the same pattern of putting the supporting documents. That is not allowed. Then, as we proceed, there is declaration of tenders past supply management practices. In this case, you have to also declare that in your previous operations, you were never in a situation where the supply chain of any organization or any office maybe terminated your contract, or you were given some contracts that you couldn't deliver. Or maybe any organization stopped you from doing business with them. You have to declare under this. All these returnable documents, you're gonna find them in a document. They are written from A1 point what, from A2 point what, from A3. You're gonna find all those. I believe you are recording this down, And then a registration of National Treasury Central Supplier Database. This is the CSD, which I believe that all of you are familiar with. This is highly required because it helps us to know or to see that all the documents that you submitted are valid. Sometimes I might not be able to validate your CIDB or to validate your BEE or your banking details or tax clearance. Excuse me. But I know that when they are on CSD, that means they are valid, because if it's not valid, it's going to indicate that it's not valid. So you can be disqualified by just not submitting this. Please, and in most cases, submit the full report. Don't submit the summary, because the summary, it's just 2 pages which don't have enough information. Submit the whole report, which it will give a proper indication to the main contractor during the evaluation. I can tell you, you will be disqualified just for not submitting this. Then, declaration certificate for local production and contact for designated sectors. It actually goes down with the local content declaration. In this case, you will find this in your document. You have to declare in your document that all the resources, all the equipment that you're gonna utilize on the project, or maybe if the resources will include the material, of course, you will source them locally. This doesn't typically mean within your local municipality, but it means within the country. But if you think you're gonna source certain materials or equipment from Swaziland, Zimbabwe, Botswana, or Namibia, you have to declare there. And then I think there is a portion where it talks about the, what you call, when you exchange the rates and yes. So there is that portion where it's gonna need that information, which I suppose maybe 99.9 will actually be using the resources that are coming locally. Locally, I mean in the country, not specifically in the local municipality. Then, schedule of deviation or qualification by a tenderer. In this case, if VIA gives you a BOQ with this chair, and they say they need this price for this chair, and you feel like you can't give VIA, you can't supply VIA with this chair, you want to supply them with the plastic one. You see, you are now deviating from what is sent or what is needed by the main contractor. On this schedule, that is where now you have to detail your deviations, where you are you have to indicate how are you deviating from the main contractor. Then it says schedule of addenda to the documents. And then in this one, that is where now that letter that I said you must send within 7 days, letter of intention to tender, that's where it kicks in again. If you don't send anything within 7 days, that means now if the main contractor or if VIA wants to make changes in the documents, VIA will only send the changes to those who have responded within 7 days. We can be 100 attending briefing session, but if only 40 send that letter of intention to tender, and after a week or couple of days, VIA realizes that they have made a mistake in the document or in the BOQ, then they have to send the information. They will only send to the 40 that has sent that letter of intention to tender. You see how important it is. Please make sure that you send that. So whatever the information that VIA sends or the main contractor sends to you, go back to this schedule, record down, there is a portion, I think it will allow you to write an item, a date, and a description of the changes that are required. Failure to do this can disqualify you, because this, if we made changes and you are not recording the changes, you have rights to come back to us tomorrow and say, no, you guys are saying this, but it's not in the document. And if you didn't make those changes, that would mean now it's our words against you. So by then now, it will put us in a danger situation to appoint you while you didn't record the changes. So the best way is to make changes as the main contractor shares the information. Askis, I forgot to put it on silent. There we go. And then there is certificate of tax compliance, which I believe all of you know this one and how to get it. Some people do it online, some people go to the nearest SARS offices, whichever way that works much better for you in terms of the one that is convenient for you. Utilize it. It can be online, you can go to the offices. And then tenderers banking details, we don't need bank statements. Every bank is able to give account confirmation letter. It just confirms that Tepo construction with the following banking details. That is the only thing that is needed there. Then, schedule of current commitments, which I think the statement says it all. You just have to list your current commitments. Certificate of compliance with compensation. This is the letter of good standing. I believe most of us know it. If you go to Department of Labor, you will find this one. If you have the company that is running now, I suppose or I believe you should be having this letter. And then the second option, as soon as the tender it's advertised, you can go to Department of Labor and get a letter to tender. What they will typically need from you is going to be your company details together with the contract's number of this tender. Then if you become successful, you will now be required to have a letter of good standing within 7 days. Then we go down to pre-referencing schedule, tenderers BE verification. I don't know what was actually needed there. Allow me to move. Schedule of work experience, which is more or less same as current commitments. Schedule of contractors equipment. There is a list, excuse me. There is a list in a tender document which you will have to tick the equipment that you have and the one that you don't have. The most important thing, you just have to be honest with yourself. This is RRM. We don't use a lot of major equipment, to be honest with you, especially grade 1s and 2s. Most of the time they are using tools. Their major equipment, you might find that it's a bakkie, which I don't want to categorize it under equipment, and a trailer. But most of the time it's just tools. So you have to understand what is needed in the BOQ, or not needed, what is listed in the BOQ and what is required to execute those things, so that you will be able to tick the relevant equipment in your tender document. And then contractors establishment on site and general obligations, allow me to pass there. And then form of offer, those ones are not transmesh, I'm gonna pass there. And then pricing schedule. Allow me to talk a little bit about it. It says provided on compact disc. I suppose you gonna give them through USBs actually, Because as far as I know, your laptop doesn't have a disk slot or whatever. And most of the laptops that I have seen, especially these ones of these days, they don't have that disk ROM where you have to put it. So I think you have to utilize a USB or maybe a form of email, and then that can also work much better. But the CD, we might have serious challenges, and then I'm sorry that I'm saying it in front of them. Okay, let's go to another stage, which is tender evaluation. You must listen to me very well here. Konjo, what is the name of the local municipality here? Okay, I didn't hear you guys well, but allow me to say in the local municipality. What will typically happen here under the functionality criteria? Let me start with the CIDB, it's fine. What will typically happen, there is another table, a long one. Actually, let's go to the second table, which summarizes it much better. There it is. If you check now, right on top, it has a CIDB package category. Let's say now someone has grade, and guys, be informed that on this contract, we only accept CE, which is civil engineering. If you have GB, which is general building, or SK, which is road markings, or you have the one for electrical, mechanical, and so forth, please go and add CE. With the other ones, you're not gonna be considered. Go and update it. It's easy. You can do it within 10 minutes online. Then, if you have grade 1, you are bidding for grade 1, you will actually get, where is the point category? You will typically get 30 points. If you have grade 1 and you are bidding for grade 1, you're gonna get 30 points. If you have grade 2, but you're gonna bid for grade 1, you're gonna get 0. If you have grade 2 and you are bidding for grade 2, you're gonna get 0. But listen to this one again. If you have grade 1 CEPE, you can still bid for grade 2 and you're gonna get 30. That is actually grade 1 civil engineering potential emerging company. So it still allows you to bid for grade 2. But if your CIDB category doesn't have PE, you can't bid for grade 2 if you are grade 1. But if you have PE after that CE, you can still bid for grade 2 even if you are grade 1. Then we have, on this, you should know that the CIDB actually says the maximum amount for grade 1, it's actually 500,000. But when you look at the way the life is moving and everything, that 500 today is no longer making sense. So, excuse me again. Take that 500,000 as your benchmark. Your price should be more or less there. It doesn't typically mean your price must be 500,000. It might happen that his budget for that package, it's 600,000, 700,000, 800,000 or whatever. It's still fine. So don't be misled about this. If you have the right prices, the quantities will tell you how much is the contract value. If you have the right prices, the quantities will tell you how much is the correct value. And then the same thing happens again for grade 2s. It says the maximum amount should be 1 million. it doesn't necessarily mean that your value should be somewhere on 1 million. It could be less, it could be more. So don't stress much, have right prices, the quantities will throw you to the right place. Then, moving from there, we have the potion. Remember now you have 30 points. And for you to go to the next stage, you actually need 75 points. You have already scored 30 points from the CIDB category. Now, let's go to the locality. So you have 30, you in short of how much? 45. Then we go to the locality. It says tenderers based in the local municipalities will get 60 points. If the project is in this local municipality and your company is registered in this local municipality, I'm not saying if you are staying, I'm saying if your company is registered under this local municipality. The reason why I'm saying that, we have people who are coming from different areas, they have been here for 6 months or a year, then they take an advantage that, no, I stay here, there and there. But when you look at their company, it's registered under Bloemfontein, which is unfair to the locals. So if you are a local, your company is registered under this local municipality, you're gonna get 60 points. Plus that 30, you now have 90. You have passed that first stage that needs 75. Then it says tenderers are based in the outside local municipality, but in the district of the municipality, they are getting 0. So I suppose that was supposed to be 45, but it's not a problem. I think it was supposed to be 45 actually. So I don't want to say 45 because I'm seeing 0 there. So it says even if you are coming from the district, you will get 0. If you are coming from the provincial, it's 0. If you are coming from the outside the province, it's still 0. So this means it needs only people that are local residents. I believe we are cool there. Then the other one, it says tenderer that is at least 51 owned by black people who are youth. I want you to understand this very, very well. Those who are moving out, make it snappy, please. Thank you. It says tenderer that is at least 51% owned by black who are youth. Don't take an advantage and say, I have a youth in my business, and you think your business will be regarded as youth. It will only be regarded as youth if that particular youth has a shareholding that is 51% and more. If you take him because he's a youth and you give him 20% or 30%, your business is not going to be regarded as youth. It doesn't qualify to get that 5%, 5 points. It says tenderers, a tenderer is at least 51% owned by black people who are women. If I take her, since she's a woman, and then I give her 20% or 40% just because she's a woman, my business is not going to be regarded as black owned women company because I am the biggest shareholder. For that to happen, she must have at least 51% and more. So if you know very well that you have taken your sister or your cousin and she has less than 51 points, your business is not regarded as black women owned. It can only be regarded if the person is 51% and more. Then a tenderer is at least 51% owned by black people with disabilities. Same thing happens with women. If this person doesn't have more than 51%, forget about the points from disability category. Then it says a tenderer is at least 51% owned by black people who are military veterans. The same thing happens. If you have military veterans in your business and their shareholding is less than 51%, your business is not regarded as military veteran owned. I believe that is clear, but the questions will tell if you guys understood or not. Allow me to go to the next slide, which is common errors that most of people do when they submit the documents. Not attending compulsory tender briefing. I indicated the disadvantage of not attending it, and then not signing attendance register at the tender briefing, and then late arrival at tender briefing. You have seen now people are going in and out here. It's fine, it's okay, it's an information session day. But during the tender briefing day, that is not allowed. If we say 10, we lock. Whoever comes after 10, then they are out. They will not be able to attend unless otherwise. But be well informed of that. With briefing session, it's different to information session. If we say 10 or 11, we stick to that time. You come late, you are not allowed to come in. Then, late submissions. Obviously, if you submit, we say closing at 2, when you come 5 past, we're not going to allow you because you have been unfair to those who wanted to submit, but then they just respected the issue that, you know what, I'm late, I can't make it anymore. So if we take your document, we have been unfair to them. So if it's 2, it's 2. And then, incomplete BOQ. Sometimes you find in the BOQ that it says cleaning of edge build-up, litter picking, or cleaning of culverts. And then you go, you're like, no, I don't want to clean these culverts. I only want to do removal of edge build-up and litter picking. You are deciding on your own. The fact that the package has the BOQ, this means you are expected to fill the prices for the whole BOQ. Do not send the BOQ that is not complete. You will be disqualified because he can appoint you on the amount that he is not sure of. What if now his budget is 600,000, the risk analysis, and then when you have priced, and then the risk analysis favors you, and then, but later on they realize that your BOQ was incomplete. So it puts them at risk for appointing you. Therefore, you're going to be disqualified. And while we are on the BOQ, allow me to say it so that they are also aware. What you must typically do, give them a BOQ that is locked. They can only fill the prices on, they can only fill in the column where they have to write their prices. They can't do anything else on the other rows and columns. They can only play there. At the end, it has a portion where they can write their company names. It will simplify your work so that you don't have to correct the errors and so forth. Then I will talk to you, you will explain more during the briefing session. Then, submitting expired documents. You still have a lot of days. And lucky enough, most of these days for them to be active, it doesn't require a lot of time. Some 24 hours, some 48 hours. Go back and check if your tax clearance is up to date, your CIDB and your BEE certificate and all those things. Go and check if your bank is still your bank account is still active or not. And then so that you don't fall in this clause or point of submitting expired documents. Then There is also another one that says joint venture contract. You see, on this one, there are some people who prefer doing joint venture. Excuse me. I'm not discouraging you to do a joint venture, but this is not a very big contract. You don't want to fight with your friends or your relatives when you invoice, because this is not big money.
Let me do the honors and continue. All right, I believe he was mentioning about the joint venture. Not to be quoted, but he was saying he would not advise you to go for that one because of the financial constraints. Because, I mean, we are dealing with that, so we know what is expected in the budgets. Let's go down, all right? And yeah, if you go down there, you will see that now people will then somehow tend not to submit the addendum. If we put in the addendum, it must always come back timeously. Well, if you fail to complete the form of offer, then that becomes a problem also. You need to come in with your declaration certificates. Failure to do that, it becomes a problem. You can come and continue. You're a very good speaker. The platform is yours.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I had to refill a little. I don't know how far he has gone. Okay, let me just continue where I stopped. On joint venture, I was saying you don't want to be in a situation where now you are having conflicts with your a brother or a relative because of money. It's not like there is no money. There is money, but it's not big for. It's not enough for a lot of people on one contract. Another thing with doing joint venture is that you must now have a joint CIDB. You must now have a joint account. You must now go and have, everything must be joint. You see now you are spending a lot of money for something small. As far as I'm concerned, most of people are still struggling to get the documents for their individual businesses. So now, how are you going to manage now to have documents with someone else? I'm not saying don't go for joint venture. If you prefer to do it, but be informed of the requirements that are needed there. Be informed of the disadvantage that are on joint ventures. But then you are welcome to do it. You can go for it, but I don't encourage you to do it. I'm just giving you a brotherly advice. And then resubmission of addendum if available. In this case, if we communicate with you and then you don't record our communication, this is an error that can make you be disqualified. Please, whenever he sends you an email saying, please amend 1, 2, 3, record those emails in the document. Then, failure to complete forms, declaration forms, local content, and all those things. What are all those forms that I have been explaining? If you fail to fill them, then you can be disqualified. because we can't assume that maybe he will fail when he's up. No, we can't do that. Therefore, you're going to be disqualified. Then, electing not to accept proposed corrections. Maybe we send a communication for corrections and you don't adapt to the new corrections. You still stay or stick to the old or original information that was given from the beginning. That can also make you to be disqualified. Then, claiming preference score without submitting acceptance verification certificate, acceptable. In this case, if you are saying you are CIDB grade 1 or 2, if I go to CIDB website and I type your company name, I should be able to find you being in the same grading that you said you are. If you say you are level 1 or level 2 BE, what is it? Is it compliant or whichever name it's used? I should be able to prove, or you should be able to prove that indeed you are in that. Then tenderer did not list all the items listed on the contract data, failure to sign all the returnable document forms. In this case, you must make a means that you fill all the returnable documents. You must make sure that you initial every page in your tender document. This is also to ensure that you have read, you have seen that page. Because if you don't initial it, we are not sure if you have seen it or not. You can say, no, when I was paging the document, these pages were too closed. I paged maybe 2 of them flipped same time. So you have to initial so that, yes, we have approved that you have seen all the pages. Let's go to the next slide. As it stands, the packages that VIA or the main contractor will be advertising for you is going to be 8 packages. In these 8 packages, it's going to be 5 of them are going to be for grade 1s. 5 for grade 1s. Then 3 for grade 2. So those who are those who have businesses that are now still on grade 1, please go prepare yourself. There are so many opportunities here. That 5 packages, we are talking about plus minus 5 million for all of them. So please go prepare, go do your homework, and then let's go to the next slide. Allow me not to go through the whole info here. This information, you are going to get it in the tender document. But what is typically happening here, so that you are not surprised why am I skipping it, it's just a breakdown of those packages. You remember in the beginning, I showed you the roads where they were red. So those roads, they have certain length, and then these subcontractors are going to work on those roads. So it just shows that package 1 will be on R23 from kilometer this to kilometer that. Subcontractor number 2 will be on R23 or R35 from kilometer this to kilometer that. So it's not clear enough. It's not something that you have to master. You are going to get it in the tender document. You're going to see it in the BOQ where you will be able to see them nicely. So now, this is also a summary, which is a scope of works for the grade 1s and 2s. So you guys will be doing the cleaning of culverts, concrete drains and channels, and then you will be doing the removal of edge build-up, litter picking, and so forth. This is very important. If you want to do your pricing well, you must go into your tender document, understand this. When they say litter picking, what do they actually mean? So this means now I'm going to have employees doing litter picking maybe for 5 kilometers every week. how many am I gonna need to finish this thing in a day? So this means per week, I can typically charge them this much. I'm just giving you a clue of how you have to tackle this pricing. I know most of the time, grade ones, you are given maybe a stretch of about 5 kilometers on your litter picking. You have to see, okay, actually this 5 kilometers, it's indirectly 10, which is 5 east, 5 west. So I can typically utilize 4 people here. Within 2 days, 3 days, this can be done. And these 4 people, maybe each in a day gets 180 or 200 rands. So 4 of them is actually 800 rands a day. They might finish this thing within a day. So I can charge maybe 1.5 a week. I'm giving you example. I'm not saying there is a price. But I want you to have a better approach. Go and think, what is a prefabricated culvert? When they say cleaning of this, actually, okay, we are typically going to do this. How many people am I going to need to do this? How much can it cost me per day? Removal of edge build-up for these kilometers. So per day, I can typically do this amount of kilometers. How many people, which tools do I need? So therefore, this actually can be my price per meter, or it can be my price per month. So that is the approach. I'm trying to let you have a background or the basics on how you have to approach this. If you don't understand the scope of work, trust me, you are going to put 1,000 where you have to put 5 rand. Let's go to the next one, which is a compulsory clarification meeting. I'm not going to, it's just a summary of the stuff that I discussed, because you will see there, it says from A1.1, certification of intention to submit a tender within 7 days. It is the one that I told you guys about. So though it's just a summary of key points, allow me not to discuss that. I can assure you that all this I have covered in my previous explanations. And then collection of tender. This, I think he might make some changes here. Allow me not to say anything today. There will still be a briefing. During the briefing, he's gonna give a better details or information on how everyone is going to get the tender documents and the BOQs. So submission of tender, I can assure you on this one that it's gonna be hand delivered to the site office where you're gonna find boxes. So this means now you are going to find 8 boxes open. Each and every box, each box is for each package. So package 1 will have its own box all the way to 8. If you are going to tender for 5 packages, those ones of grade 1, that means you must have 5 different tender documents, 1, 2, 3, up to 5, because you can't use one document and put it in one package. Now when we evaluate these packages, we can't be stressing again and going back to package 1 just for your document because it has covered all of them. Every document must have its own package so that it becomes easy for the main contractor to do the evaluation. I know it's very expensive to print those documents, and it's unfortunate that the main contractor, allow me to say it's not gonna manage to print for everyone. It's printing that document alone, it can take more than 200 rands, just one document. So imagine printing for 100 or 150 people, it's gonna be very costly. So try by all means to position yourself well. Another thing that I can advise you on, if you really want this, don't bid on one document. Don't bid on one package. I have seen it last year with the subcontractors that we have in MLO, and even the ones that we are busy with evaluations in MLO. But I have seen it that those who are making it to the shortlisted part, it's the ones that have tendered for 3 packages or 4 packages, 2 packages, 4 packages, it puts them in good standing, because if they fail in package 1, they still have more hopes. So if you just do 1, it becomes a problem. I suppose you are going to allow all the grade 1s, if they want to, they can bid for all 5 packages, but then they can't bid for grade 2, and grade 2s, if you want, you can bid for all 3 packages. So if you have resources, I don't want to say money, to print all the documents, please do. Do all 5. It's gonna put you in a good standing, trust me. So I think we have come to the end of our session. I'm not sure if the project manager wants to say something before questions, or we're gonna jump straight into questions and then we will answer. Is that for a question? Okay. We're gonna jump straight to the questions. Help me.
Angibonge ukuthi uqala ngami. Sanibonani. Yeah, oyigama nguThabo Phuthi from Solanage Enterprise. Eqinisweni nje bengine mixed feeling about the project le. But at least today I need amanye ama issues. Siyabonga ukuthi nibathathile abantu esibaziyo local basebenza. But the key issue was the skill development and growth. Remember, sifuna umsebenzi, sifuna le skill development nokukhula. From egqaliseni kwetender le, understanding wale document. And if you remember, azange sayicala kanje, but ngiyabonga ukuthi at least I needed ama issues of which kukhona namangunye engutholile nokungifundisayo ukuya phambili. I thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jabulani Kosi from Kosi Consulting Firm. My question is on the schedule of deviation, and the joint venture issue. The question on the schedule of deviation is, that means when you explain the schedule deviation, that means it's acceptable to deviate maybe on what is required from VIA or from the main contractor. Is it acceptable to do the deviation as you explained? The question 2 is a joint venture thing. Do you give, but as you explained the joint venture, the disadvantage of the joint venture, but although did you give the opportunity to tender, or maybe if you will receive the joint venture, and then you are able to take them in on a joint venture side? Thank you.
Sanbona, I'm one of the assistants on the project. I have a question when it comes to the BOQ compilation. Let's say I have a company as a QS and the bidders come to me. What do I do on that point? Because they will be coming with a similar document, then I have to price all of them. Then at the end, you might pick up that there is a pattern of pricing when you are going through the documents. What happens on that case? The second one is on joint venture. What happens when a partner in a joint venture decide to come out of it, to say I'm no longer interested in the business? What happens with the joint venture then? Then the last one, that one of funding. What happens if, let's say I have 5 companies registered under my name, then I'm tendering. What happens then? When you pick up that only one person is appearing on these 5 companies, what happens then? And they are all potential.
Thank you. My name is Peter Mloy. I was not supposed to say anything because I'm a PLC member. But the thing that I'm asking is that, can you please, in your explanation, put our own language? Because some other people will go out saying that they've heard or they understand what you've said. When it comes to feeling of the documents, only to find they are unable to fill the documents or they feel something very wrong, you see. So with the language that it's good that you explain, but to me it seems as if you are speaking lonely, and that is true. I don't want, when you come out here, at the same time, via maybe is being blamed too much. So yes, we are here as PLC members, but I'll be asking you at least to put our own languages so that people might understand. Thank you.
All right, let me answer one or two. Timothy can also jump in and assist. He's also familiar with all of this. I believe the first question was with regards to deviation. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. It won't fly. Because once a person now starts to deviate, it's more like he or she is doing as he pleases. So it's not allowed. And your second question was about the joint venture. We somehow came out clean, and not to discredit you in going for joint venture, but we are just keeping you posted. There's not a lot of money involved. And if I can be open, currently we have a joint venture on the project, and the things are not well. So we don't want to go that route again, for your own benefit, of course. The other one was with regards to the QoS pricing. We were actually running away from the similarities, because if you start seeing all the tenders, I mean, the same price and same rate, one would, when doing audit, would say, but what's the story in here? Of course, if a doctor here does not don't know how to do pricing, obviously he will go for someone more experienced on the field. But we are just running away from people now doing a copy and paste. It must somehow be an exercise. The other one was?
Okay, she will help. But then in addition to what he said, let me, there was a gentleman who acknowledged the session. Yeah, you are welcome, even if I don't see you now. Yeah, tell him that no, I'm glad to hear that. The second thing is on the joint venture, as he said, on other projects, they haven't been successful. So it's good that they are successful on this contract, but he said it himself that things are not going well. This is not, let me put it this way, the same document that we are summarizing here is the same document that the main contractor typically used. So some of the things we are explaining because they are there, but they are not typically applicable to you. If it could have been better now, it maybe for the main contractor, yes, coming into this contract, it would have made a little bit of sense to do a joint venture with another company. But now you can't be doing a joint venture with someone where maybe you might be invoicing 60 or 80,000 or 100,000 on a monthly basis, where you're still gonna have a lot of expenses. At the end of the day, your salary becomes 5,000. Where if you were alone, it could have been 10,000. I'm giving an example. So we discuss. I don't want to say I'm discouraging it. It's up to you, but there are a lot of disadvantages doing a joint venture. The one for pricing, you have to be honest with our brothers and sisters. If they come to you, as much as you want money from them, be clean. There is no need for you, and remember now you are doing it for your business. There is no need for you to help that 11 people, giving them same prices. They come to us, we disqualify. They start talking that, that guy, he gives wrong prices. We all got disqualified. Then your business now, the dignity of your business has gone down. Just because of you were not honest with yourself, you were not honest with your brothers and sisters. If you price for her, and the following day this one comes, tell her straight that, you know what, I have already priced for this particular person on the same contract. Unfortunately, I can't price for you. You guys are going to have same prices. And be informed that if I price for you, you too will be disqualified. And you will be unfair for the first person who came to you because they have paid you. So be honest in everything that you are doing. And then, what was the last question? Yeah, I think the joint venture issue, we sorted it out. And then, okay, with the common language, I humbly apologize. I have to say it. I'm not Zulu. I can hear a little bit of Zulu. I can't speak it well. I humbly apologize on that. But then to add, those who will be successful on contracts, the contractual language is English. I understand we try by all means to accommodate each other. But for those who did not understand me, ngiyaxolisa, askis, I could have maybe done it in Zulu if I was good in Zulu. And then I think we are done. Do we still have more questions? Oh, the project manager.
Sanibonani. Ninjani? Igama lami uKwanele Simelane ngiphume eSandral. Thanks for the presentation. I think it was, you did justice to it. I think the reason is sebenzisa isilungu is because vele lama document abhalwe ngesingisi. And I think ngikuzwile baba Mloyi, I think Sandral needs to actually consider, because if Sandral is an organization that comes to the people, definitely we need to look at interpreting some of the languages, because I know in Limpopo now, so I mean we can do the same here as well. So I just want to say that is because Isandral appointed Via as the main contractor so because siyazi ukuthi Via isiya la iPixley kufuna sibe ne committee yebantu bala iPixley abazosiza ukuthi sikhone ukwazi ukuthi umphakathi wala iPixley ukuphi, sisebenza nabo bani, sibathola phi labantu. So sine PLC, I'm sure niyawazi ubaba Mloyi, because ubaba Mloyi was one of the very instrumental people to make sure that this information session iyenzeka. Ngibona nobaba Gasa but angisamboni manje. Na ngicela nisukume nje nobabili nje ni PLC because sibonga nini ukuthi sibe la namhlanje. So I think nibo soma business la. There is a lot of information that sizama ukuyishare nani, because sizama ukuthi ngisho noma ngabe uke wasebenza kitchen, if unama aspirations ukusebenza ube subcontractor ungene ku construction, lelithuba leli nawo ungalithola ungene. This is not for abantu laba ku construction. Any one of you can start up. La sikhuluma nama grade 1s and 2s, because siyazi ukuthi kuqala ka grade 1 vele. Na ku construction kukhona lokho. So some of you are grade 1s and 2s because nisasebancane la ku construction nifuna ukukhula. So that's why we are here to talk to you. So for me, the most important slide here today, I would like to go back to it. This is the most important slide for today. So, sine project, namhlanje, akuzange uSandral la, kuzuvia oqashwe iSandral. I think we must change these words. Instead of calling these information sessions, we must call these business sessions, or we must call them training sessions. Because if you say information, you are talking something else. So I think le project, if via is a la etakakral, is on jeluguti, solo italile le project. Kune mali ekfanele isale la ekhaya Pixley, kule project. Iqale last year le project. Seyiqhubekile sike saqasha ama subcontractor, kunama subcontractor asebenzayo khona manje. But nina ama subcontractor amancane every year sifuna abasha khona bazongena kungena abanye. Selithuba la labanye manje. Khona balitholile ithuba, it's other people's chances. Any one of you can actually have this chance. So, le project is worth 67 million over 3 years. 50% wayo, 33 million kufuna asalela. So far, sesi spend 11 million la, kusasele 22 million. 22 million, sidinga manje, ama subcontractor I8, azophuma la. Ama subcontractor I8, ama grade 1 I5. Ama grade 1 I, grade 1 inye, yenza plus minus umsebenzi wa 500,000 in a year. So masifuna 5, lo msebenzi loyo approximate to 2.5 million. Sifuna nama grade 2, I3. Grade 2 yenza 1 million in 12 months. So masifuna I3, kuno msebenzi o value ya 3 million. 2.5 plus 3 million is about 5.5 million in the next 12 months for grade 1s and 2s. Kulo 5.5 million, angite kusele 22 million. If you actually subtract 5.5 million from 22 million, kusala 17.5. Obviously, sinama grade 3, nama grade 4, asebenzayo kulo project. Maybe lo 17.5 uzospendwa ngiyo. But nina as grade 1s and 2s, there is 5.5 million that we have set aside on this project so that any one of you can actually participate. So I think that's the most important thing. So, namhlanje, I'm not happy about the venue, guys, and the fact that we couldn't see this. Namuhla, sizotshela ngisho noma awuna company right now uhleli la uzolalela ukuthi eSandral bathini. Sithi kuwa, you need a couple of pieces of paper. And then you need to know ukuthi kufanele ube kuphi mhla kabani. Because washaywa idate, ushaywe izinto eziningi. So for me, I really would like everyone that is here to get a copy of this presentation within the next 3-4 days. I don't know how quickly you can, because all these dates that are here are very important. Ngisho noma ngabe awuna CSD khona manje or awazi ukuthi ama office CIDP akuphi. These dates that are here, kune date la sizovula khona lama tender sesi-advertisele ku radio angazi boba bomloyi bazothi si-advertise ku radio noma niyilalela i-radio la Pixley bazothi kune newspaper ngisayazi nale newspaper yenu yala iPixley ukuthi ngiphi that saze sa-advertise kusho ukuthi if wena ungekho ready ibhasi selisukile station. So these dates are very, very important for you because ngisho noma ngabe onke lama phepha esikhulume ngawo useze, you can still get them and you can still meet some of these dates. So it's very, very important for you to know these dates. If ungasasisho, if ubhale kabi date la, I think the most important thing will be for you to have this man's phone number. Because kunai date nai yamhlaga 10 August. I'm advising you today, bosoma business, ngicela nimfonele nicele le document. So that maniya lapha ku briefing, nibuza page by page. Le page lena manithi nifuni work experience manganayo mina, ngigqwalise kanjani. Kule briefing wonke umuntu kufuna phuma document yakhe seyiqwele. Sekushoda nje izinto eziyi-2-3 nyana ukhona ukusubmit. Ungameli the date lesekugcineni lapha yana ukuthi mina ngizomela the last day ngikhathi ngiyosubmit. I'm not accepting this CD and this disc, these are grade 1s and 2s. You are going to print all the documents for them. That's what the contract actually says. So, ngicela ningahlukini anamali yokuprinta ama document in ma grade 1 na ma grade 2. Funa banprintele document in 30 hard copy lapha e-office. Asidlali kanjalo. So, in closing, there was one form. There's one. Lama form ayafanana lama form. Esandral bese siyangeza. Mangabe kamasipala amathenda kamasipala uvamise ukugcwalisa nje 5 wama form noma 6 wama form usubmit itender khona. La esandral sizogcwalisa 30 noma 40 walama form. Some of them, most of them, they don't apply. Uzwa nje uzovele ufake not applicable ulisign. Wangafaki lo not applicable wangalisign. Ubese so utholakala non-responsive because wena kuzothi hayi uleqile le page or awukakalisign ngamabomu ngoba khona into efihlayo. So kuneli form la bathe it's prominent manage uze what it's too long to read. There is a form here that we want you to complete honestly. Li hambelana ne influence. If I company yakho wena wazana na thina Central sibiza ngama Gupta's form. If wazi abantu abazi upresident ecompanyini yakho, it's very advisable that you actually declare that because asifuni sesibona umphakathi sekavala umgwaqo ashisa umgwaqo lapha ngoba wena wazana nabo Jacob Zuma nabo Cyril Ramaphosa. It actually talks to prominent people. So noma ngabe wazana no mayor wala ekhaya sicela ugqwalise le form usho ukuthi mine no mayor siso because asifuni abantu abazo influencer ama company wenu kulama project ngoba bese kuba inkinga ngiyanitshela. So please just complete all the forms and then the last thing ni abo grade 1 nabo grade 2 lama document lama tender document azosho ukuthi le package iqale false crust iphelela lapha ku kilometer 20 banban bazosho ukuthi le package is 2 iqala e-full crust iyale ku iyePerdekop bazosho ukuthi lenye iqale eDaka Krali yophelele Vaal River whatever. So ni ama grade 1 and ama grade 2 lo msebenzi esinikeza wona akusi umsebenzi lapho khona seningaqala kwenza imali nihambe ngama BMW. This is actually work that we are trying to give you so that uzokhula construction. So it's developmental work. Ngeke ama joint venture bathi bayawa discourage because quite clearly ungakwenza lento uyi1 awudinga omunye umuntu ipartner ma uyi grade 1. Akunamuntu okuphekelezele waya ka grade 1 uhambe wedwana ka grade 1. Ka grade 1 akuphekelezwana ka grade 1 singakuphekelezela maso university. So what I'm trying to say is that nina ni abo grade 1 nabo grade 2 la kulo msebenzi enizowenza anina labor nini kwanyalo la kule project ye routine road maintenance nisebenza ngama job instruction makunomsebenzi kufanele uyowenziwa bakunikeza instruction ekuthamba wenza lo msebenzi. So nina nizobe nenza ku clean nibutha amaphepha awudinga experience yokubutha amaphepha. Noma ngangibana ngaqala icompany kusasa lokhu izoqala kubutha amaphepha emgwaqweni weSandral niyangizwa ukuthi ngithini. So akuna experience ekubutha amaphepha and therefore anizi ne labor nina ni ma grade 1 na ma grade 2 niza la ikithi nithi okay mina sengitholile icontract ngithole package 1 sikutshela ukuthi package 1 uyobutha amaphepha uclean nama drain. Utshele thina ukuthi mina mangini price lapha lo 500,000 bengibuke ukuthi ngizosebenzisa abantu abayi5 for lo msebenzi. Utshelwa yithi ukuthi labantu abayi5 uzobathathaphi because asifuni nina nize nebantu benu niqina nithatha abantu bala iDaka Krali kuphela kanti le project ya wonke umuntu osePixley kungenzeka kube wena icompany yakho ibuya la iDaka Krali but sizokucela ukuthi usebenzise abantu base angaze extension bani depending on ukuthi le package ezobe sikunikeze yona iduzane nabaphi abantu. Asifuna ukuqabanisa abantu lana sithole nina nima grade 1 and grade 2 nisitshela ukuthi hayi mina senginabantu bami akusebenzi kanjalo kule project. Kule project sifuna ukunikeza amathuba bonke bantu bala ePixley. So mase siqasha uthi ungathola le contract uze ku PLC uze ku site office uzothi mina ngithola i-contract yami ngifuna ukuqala ukusebenza kusasa ngidinga abantu abayi-5 siyabe sine PLO la i-PLO ngiyo ekhonako ukuthi ize la emiphakathini izokhona ukuthi okay sisebenzisa angazi bathi finder noma bathi yini but kunezinto enizisebenzisayo zalana that you will all have to actually conform to so that isizocubeka nalama process or nalama policy wase Central. I'd like to end there. Thank you so much and may the best tenderer win any one of the packages.
Sibonge kakhulu mhlakazi omkhulu mphathi wethu lo ukhulumile sikhulumile ngiyathemba ukuthi kuzwakele mina ngicela uemphasize ukuthi mawula ungabhali igama lakho kule register before uhamba ubhale because yiyo le ebazothumela incwadi kuyo ukuthi uthole ama document siyabonga kakhulu mphakathi signing out Central siyabulela.